Trina, and today I am doing a series review on the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series by Rick Riordan. This is a middle grade series of 5 books, and the order of the books is The Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. I know these covers don't match, that's just what my library gave me because I actually don't own this series, but I'm going to be doing a series review, and this is going to be non-spoiler because the purpose of my series reviews, I feel like, is letting people know if this is something that they want to pick up or not. But if you have read the series and if you have anything specific that you want to discuss with me, we can definitely discuss spoilers down in the comments below. I just ask that you put a spoiler warning on your comment. So my overall opinion is that I liked this series, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it as much as other people seem to have, especially people that read it when they were younger, but I also didn't flat out hate the series, so I do want to discuss the pros and cons of this one with you. I will tell you a summary of the series, and then I'll go more into details of what I liked and what I didn't like, and end up with who I would recommend this series to. Now, the setup of the first book is that Percy Jackson is just your average 12-year-old boy, and he kind of has trouble focusing at school, and one day he swears that his teacher has turned into a monster. And when he tells his mom about this strange occurrence that he thinks he witnessed, his mom realizes it is time to tell him that Percy is actually the son of one of the Greek gods, Poseidon. His mom decides it's time to take him to this safe place called Camp Half-Blood, where all the other half-bloods and demigods come to, and they learn about their ancestry, and they also train so that they can carry out all of these Greek quests. Throughout the series, Percy grows from age 12, ending up at age 16 in the last book, and each book he basically is going on a different quest, and the underlying theme of the whole series is that there is this war brewing between the Greek gods and the Greek Titans, which are basically the villains of Greek mythology. So as for what I liked about this series, I loved the characters. They were my favorite part. Percy is a sassy and witty main character. His narration through the series is what really invested me in wanting to make it through. I wanted to know his outcome and his friend's outcome. Friendships is also a really important theme in this book. He's got Annabeth and Grover, which are introduced in the first book, and they are still around throughout the series, but we have so many other friends from Camp Half-Blood that are introduced along the way. I found each of the characters to be pretty vibrant because we're introduced to characters who are the sons and daughters of all of these different Greek gods, and so we're seeing their personality traits, like how the daughter of Ares is a very hot-headed and kind of a bully character. Annabeth is the daughter of Athena, so she's very intelligent just like Athena is. So the characters were the shining star for me, as well as the theme of friendship. I also really loved how educational this series was. If you have any interest in Greek mythology, this series is going to teach you a lot about the different myths and different gods. Even if you already know a lot about it, I think that this series brings them to life in just a fun way. But especially if you are a younger reader, like, this is a middle grade series, so it's intended for younger readers. Percy starts out at 12 years old, and I distinctly remember that when I was 12 years old, we had a unit in school of learning about ancient Greece, and I got kind of wrapped up in it. I wanted to know all these different myths and legends, and I thought it was really cool, and I really wish that I had this book back when I was that age and was really into it, because it definitely would have been entertaining and educational. So if you are a younger reader, or if you are a parent of younger readers, this is definitely, I think, an essential series. So as far as what I didn't like about this series, I did get kind of tired of the same formula being repeated every book, at least until the last book. The last book kind of branches away because the war has kind of accumulated at that point, but the other 4 books, it's always a quest. It's very wash, rinse, repeat. Percy arrives at camp, he gets this dream or prophecy that he doesn't tell anybody because he hasn't learned from the previous several books that your dreams are important, Percy. You should tell people because they're going to play a role in this quest you're going on. And then he goes on the same quest, and I feel like it really was repetitive, and so for me as a reader, that's just something that I don't enjoy in series, is that when it is so super obvious what is going to happen next, because we've seen this play out before. However, I will say that I think that that is going to be very beneficial to younger readers, because I think that they're going to enjoy putting the pieces together on their own because they can recognize it. Another thing that I really disliked about this story was the over-reliance on dreams and visions and prophecies to tell the overall story. We are limited to Percy's first-person point of view throughout the story, but Riordan frequently uses Percy's dreams and unexplained visions that he has even when he is awake to let us know what other characters that are far away from Percy are doing in that exact moment. These aren't dreams of his imagination. These are scenes that are exactly happening word for word. To borrow a term from Mari from My Name is Marinaz, that is cheater narration. There is no way that Percy could possibly know what is going on with these other characters and what their thoughts and words and motivations were because he was not there. Now, you could probably write off most of these dreams and prophecies as some of the gods do grant Percy the sight of vision from time to time to let him know what else is going on. And that's okay, but the frequency to which it is used was just outside of my realm of believability, especially in the last book. Half of that story took place through dreams and prophecies and visions. I just think that it was relied on a bit too much. Maybe the scope of this story should have looked at just having another point of view thrown in or having a third-person narrative for at least some of the chapters, because we really were limited to Percy's point of view, and I can see how the author was trying to work around it. And within the series, yes, because the gods could grant him the visions, and because dreams are highly revered and thought of as prophetic in the Greek mythology, yes, it did work in this series. I just thought it was relied on a little bit too much for my tastes. The repetitive narration and the reliance on dreams and prophecies, those are just things that didn't work well for me, but I want to wrap up this video by telling you who I would recommend this series for. Now, Percy Jackson is really a staple middle grade series these days. A lot of people love it and talk about it. I do think that if you are an adult reader or a reader of YA who hasn't gotten into middle grade very much, this series would be a good one to kind of get into the middle grade demographic. I also think that young readers, especially anyone that is young and kind of studying ancient civilizations in school and has gotten to like the Greek unit in class and they're interested in it, get this book in their hands because it's going to be so fun for kids that are into this stuff. Like I said, I wish I'd had this series when I was 12 and studying that in school because it just brings it to life. It does it in a really funny and intelligent and just exciting way. It's also something good to mention, it's not really heavy on the romance because these characters are so young. There is a romance brewing in the final book, and I know that people kind of ship these characters together all throughout the series, but since they are so young, that's not really developed. So this is a good series for people who are wanting books for themselves or for their kids that don't involve a lot of romance. That's really all I have to say about this series. If you have any extra thoughts or you want to know my thoughts on anything specific that I did not cover, definitely let me know down below and I will respond to you there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!